your position where you rank, no matter it's organic or paid ads, that matters a lot, and that directly affects your CTR.
Hey Asim, hi.
Hey,
Yeah, see,
Varun, right? Hey, Varun, how's
Yes,
it
yes,
going?
Varun. Hi. How are you? I'm good. I'm
I'm
good.
good. I'm good.
Hey Asim, how are you doing?
I'm good, Deb. How are you?
Doing good.
Wow, it's right in the nick of time.
Yeah. Okay, so as we wait for everyone to join in, I would like to discuss with you about a little offer that we are running. And as I know that most of you are from marketing and sales, I thought that it would be interesting for you. I'll just share my screen and I'll take you through an offer that we are running for two of our tools, which is a B2B lead gen tool. So here is the tool offering that we are giving, and which is Ampliz Sales Buddy plus People Finder, wherein you can use any of the websites that you're visiting on a day-to-day basis to search for prospects or your LinkedIn connections. You can use them to find more leads for yourself and close more deals. We are offering both these tools together at 50% off. You can click this link here. I'll be sharing this link with you. So you can click on this 50% off link. You'll be taken to the offer page. So here are the two tools that we are offering. One is the Ampliz Sales Buddy, which helps you get B2B company and decision makers intelligence. It has like 120 million plus contact details, 21 million plus direct dials, and 7 million plus companies in it, which and it also would help you to get personalized intelligence. For example, you can get the tech stack, funding information, etc., from any websites that you're visiting. And also the other tool in offering is the People Finder, which will help you use your contacts, your LinkedIn contacts, and also find new people from your LinkedIn. And you can personalize your campaigns towards them. You can connect with them. So this is actually the offering that we are having. I'll share the link with you so that all of you can access this. And if you need any demo, etc., for these tools, you can contact me. I'll share my email ID as well with you. Thank you.
Okay. Hi everyone. My name is Varun. Hi Azim.
Hi, how's it going?
It's going great. I hope everyone is keep on joining right now. So right now we have 31 people joining with us. So before we start, I just gonna give you a small, rules and regulations for this web talk which we are hosting right now. So we just want to make sure everyone will get the chances to ask questions, or to maybe you can just text down in the text box where you can see the chat box. You can text your questions as well. But just to make sure, I request everyone to mute themselves at this point of time. And if you want to ask any particular question, there is an option called raise hands. You can use that such that we will keep a count of people who have raised their hands. And in between the questions, when Azim is sharing his screen, on the halfway through, we'll take up your questions, and Azim will be answering all those questions to you. Cool. I hope everyone got the rules. Okay. So awesome. Thank you, guys. So let's start. So I think we can just start off right now. So thank you, Asim, once again for joining with us for this wonderful web talk on how to work on Google Ads, how to make profitable Google Ads for your business while we are in the lockdown situation right now. So it's a really pleasure that you have joined with us right now.
Absolutely. It's also my pleasure to share my learnings and my experience with all my fellow marketers.
Great. So as just to give a small introduction about Azim, so he is a Google Ads optimization specialist and also a growth marketer, and been working in digital marketing in his background from the past 7+ years. And he has worked on interesting strategies, and he has been doing auditings and optimizing Google Ads for his clients as well. So in this episode, in this web talk, what we want to do is we'll be also taking up any of the three accounts, Google Ads account of yours, to understand and helps to audit. So Azim will be taking up and will be auditing in with us as a case study, so that he will make changes what are required, how to optimize your Google Ads on this call itself. So This is a general introduction. So thank you, Azim. So I think we can start off with your presentation.
Yep, absolutely. Right. So I hope everyone can see my screen. Varun?
Yes, yes, yes. We can see your screen.
Yeah.
Yep. So here it is.
Right.
Yep. So why Google Ads, or let's say the power of Google Ads? Don't read, or let's say don't worry about the other texts. Just focus on what I've highlighted. About more than 40% of clicks go to the top 3 paid search ads in search results. That is on the Google search results page. Isn't this interesting? Isn't this surprising?
Yep, absolutely. That numbers.
That's huge. That's staggering, right?
Yes.
Yep. So this is the industry facts. Now I'm going to back it up with my campaign results. So here you see a small segmentation. This is a segmentation that all of you can also see in your campaigns. All you need to do is go to campaign or keyword level, go to segmentation, and do a simple top versus other segmentation. You should have this right in front of you if you follow those instructions.
Yeah.
And what this slide shows is when an ad is appearing above search results, what are the performance differences in CTR and CPC versus when an ad is being shown below the organic search results, that is in the bottom half of the pages, right?
Yeah.
If you can see, the difference again is staggering, right? More than 10 times difference in CTR and about 5 times, or I would say, okay, 2 times difference in CPC, right? So what I'm trying to say through this screenshot is your position where you rank, no matter it's organic or paid ads, that matters a lot, and that directly affects your CTR.
Okay.
Yep. And since we're talking about paid search or Google Ads, we cannot leave out SEO, right? So simple comparison between how effective SEO is and how effective Google Ads is, right? So on the left-hand side, you see a small statistic which says about 60% of consumers fail to differentiate between paid or organic results. The normal layman, they don't understand what's paid, or let's say what's a paid search, what's organic search. They do not care, they do not understand.
Yeah.
All they care about is how relevant and easy it is for a user to find information over Google.
Yeah.
Right? And more interesting, or let's say more stronger facts, is that about 60 to 70% of the top 5 results on Google take away all the clicks, right?
Yeah.
So if you're even below the top 4 or 5, you'll have only a small portion of the clicks volume, right? So for example, there are 1,000 searches for your target keyword in a month. If you're anyway beyond the 5th result, you will get 50, 100 clicks. But if you're in the top few results, you're going to get a lot more clicks, because people, let's be honest. If you take your own user journey, or let's say your perspective as a user, not as a marketer, do you remember yourself clicking or even scrolling beyond the first few results on Google? I'm pretty sure no.
I think the first thing we do generally is clicking the first result, not
Right.
even going to the first 3.
The
Right.
zeroth.
Yeah.
And that's why the concept of so in the world of landing pages, it says above fold, right? So user, what content they see before scrolling down is of primary importance, right? So it's all about the first few seconds and first few impressions that you can, you have as a chance to impress them. If
Right.
you're able to impress them, you can get them to do a sale or get them to submit a lead. But if you fail, if they're going to look and look, if they're going to work hard to find the information, you're done, right? So the same logic applies to landing pages and also search results. It's about finding information the fastest and in the best possible way.
Right.
Yeah. And this is an interesting survey which was done by no one else but search engine, the search engine site, search engine landing, right? So they recently did a survey on 1st April, that's just 3-4 days ago. And according to their understanding of, which was a survey for marketers and not for users, 64% of marketers say that they'll prefer Google ads versus they'll prefer SEO if given a choice of only going for one of them, right?
Okay.
So again, this is astounding. This is surprising. More than 60% of them saying, hey, they'll prefer Google ads. And why, if you ask me, is because the level of control about who sees your messaging, what kind of messaging they see, what position, what offer. So that minute control over your campaign, which is the basics of marketing, right?
Yep.
That minute level of control is better, or let's say is more viable to Google Ads than SEO.
Okay.
And that's why Google Ads is more effective. So who am I? Here's a small, here are some reviews left by my clients that I've worked with over the years, right?
Mhm.
So I've been able to reduce their campaign cost, at the same time increasing their campaign performance, right? So basically we're talking about reducing average CPC while increasing CTR.
Okay.
And I have to back that up by campaigns, right?
Yeah.
So here's a recent optimization that I did for a client. If you can see the highlighted columns, the impressions which are on absolute top, that is the first result on Google, the first page. If you see, it's increasing every month, right? So more than February, I was able to touch more than 60% of the first result on Google. That's the power of Google Ads. You can work on who sees your ad, how they see your ad, and you can track all these metrics, which I'm not sure SEO does provide all these minute things, right? So that's why I love Google Ads. Right, so coming back to what I'm going to share as strategies for my optimizations, right? So this is a simple list of things that I'm going to be sharing with you, right from CTR, right from competitor keywords, right from landing page, right from conversions, bidding strategy, and then lastly, display campaigns. Right. So in the world of auditing, or let's say Google Ads optimization, the first thing that you need to understand is there's a concept called, excuse me, there's a concept called LR ratio. LR is Lin-Wronski ratio. That's a proprietary, you can say, algorithm or a way of calculating how profitable your campaigns are. So it's a simple concept. What you need to do is you need to consider the CPA, or cost per conversion, of all your search queries, and then divide it by the search queries with at least one conversions, right? So if the ratio is anything more than, I would say, 4, you need to work on your search terms. So basically what that means is your search terms are not generating enough, let's say, conversions and revenue for you. So basically you're experimenting too much in terms of discovering more keywords and, loosely packing your keywords, that is through the match types. So this could also be an indication that you're using broad match and modified broad match too much. You might want to consider going phrase match and maybe even consider going exact match. I hope everyone's following, because this is all for a digital marketer. And I'm assuming this is all, the group is all about digital marketing. So I hope everyone's with me.
Asim, could you help me with a broad match modifier and exact match modifier? Like when do you use which one?
Right. So exact match, there's no exact match modifier. There's exact match, which is used mostly for branded terms and wherein, or let's say situations where you're sure that, hey, I know what people are searching for. This is tried, tested, there's enough search volume, and that's why it's used for brands. So when you're sure that, okay, these are the search terms, this is the way users find us or a brand or a particular, problem, you could consider exact matches. But when you want to, let's say, include variations, especially long tail keywords. So for example, if your keyword is, let's say, digital marketing consultant in Bangalore, right? Or let's say digital marketing consultant. So anything, anything following the consultant, let's say the three words that you've targeted, you might want to. So all those all those words, phrases following your main target keyword can be included in a modified broad match, right?
Oh,
So
right.
it's all about when you want to discover more keywords, but when you want to have a certain amount of control. Right? So if you want, post the session, I can share with you guys a funnel which exactly tells you what kind of, or let's say in what situation you could use what kind of a match.
Right. Okay.
Right? Then you could focus on, so the same LR ratio, you could focus on with keywords, right? So how's your ad group level and campaign level conversion and CTR versus your overall account versus just ad groups versus just a bunch of keywords. So you can do a lot of testing and trialing before you understand, hey, these are the set of keywords which are profitable, and these are the set keywords which are not profitable, or I might have to work on the ad copies, or maybe reconsider the keywords themselves, right? That's all about what works for your business, how many keywords you have enabled, what's the size of your account. So there's no one size fit all solution out there. It's all about basically your situation and your industry.
Right.
And then you could also audit, or let's say dive deep inside your quality scores of keywords. So let's say, for example, you've got 1,000 or more than 1,000 keywords in all of your campaigns, and you've got no idea where to get started, right? That's a huge data set. So what I would suggest is you work either on a campaign or ad group level, or if you want to work on the entire list of keywords, you could do some filters as uh, keywords which have a lower, let's say lower than 40% impression absolute top percent, or um, uh, quality score which is less than 4, right? So in the next slide, I'm going to show you exactly why I need to focus on quality scores less than 4, right? So based on your situation, again, there are a lot of conditions and variables that you could, make your way through. So going on to the next slide, according to the agenda. So here is a way of discovering what keywords your competitors are already using, but you are not, right? So this is a simple technique to bifurcate, or let's say filter out the keywords. Those are common between you. So we're talking about basically keywords which are not common between the two of you. And how do you do that? Is through the auction insights report. Go onto the auction insights report. Uh, make sure you have the overlap rate column enabled. All you need to do is simply first segment, which is, as you can see in the blue section on the screenshot. So go to segments, make sure you have per month, or let's say monthly segmentation enabled, and then just click on overlap rate as a column. What this will do is bring out the top overlap percentage with each of your competing URLs, right? So in this case, if you see there's one particular URL, or let's say competitor URL domain, which has increasing overlap rate. So right from 22% it was more than 2 times, 42% in just about 2 months. So what are they doing, right? What kind of keywords are they bidding on? How do we find that? So so the summary of this technique is, as soon as you find out the highest overlap rate, especially which is on increasing every month, that's your competitor that you need to focus on, right? How do you do that? How you find their keywords that they're bidding on and those you aren't? By a simple technique. You put in their URL, or let's say domain, inside any keyword tool. Then you ensure, especially if you're using Google Ads keyword tool, you ensure that you exclude the keywords in your own account, right? So for example, if you find that they're bidding on 1,000 keywords, so if you see at the bottom right of this screenshot, there's a column called account status. So that account status has to be nil. Why is that? Is because you need to exclude out the keywords that you already targeting in line with this competition, or let's say this competitor, right? And then this technique, along with a filter of at least 500 to 1,000 search volume per month, this enables you to find the most, let's say, hot or most searched keywords which your competitor is using, but you are missing out on, right? So as an example, I did a random search for Nike.com and it got me about 1,800 keywords, right? But after these two filters, which is highlighted in the yellow box, I was able to drill down only on about 300 keywords, which are of prime importance and which are two filters that I'm excluding the keywords that I'm already using and which are of high search volume, right? So this technique works, let's say, enables you to understand what successful keywords your competitors are already bidding on, but what you're missing out on, right? So this is a very simple but effective technique. Right, so going on to how to increase your impression share instantly, or let's say very fast without a lot of data analysis, is of course very logical. Is you power, or let's say you leverage the power of Google Ads bidding strategies. So in case if you're bidding through a manual CPC strategy, what you can do is select some, or let's say part or all of your keywords. I'm sorry, does anyone have a question? Right, so I'm going to go on. So what you need to do is select a part of the keywords or all of the keywords in a campaign or an ad group, and then go to edit and choose the option change max CPC bids, and select the option raise bids to either top of the page or raise bids to first page CPC. So what this does is Google will automatically take the Google's internal recommended CPC bid, which is customized for you as an advertiser, and it raises all those individual keyword level bids to either first page or top of the page of first, right? So this gives you a better fighting chance in terms of your competitors. Your impression share and also your absolute and top impression share would instantly start increasing. I've seen results in as few as 4 or maybe 6 days using these techniques, right? So let's say what if you want to consider some other strategies, or let's say some other bid strategies to increase your impression share? What do you do then? There's a simple, or let's say advanced automated bidding strategy, which is called target impression share. Not all of the marketers know very well how to leverage this. So I'm going to show you a very simple technique. Go to the advanced bidding strategy selection, select target impression share, and if you see in the screenshot, the second bottom one, there are three fields that you need to input data for. So if you select the first field, it will give you an option, I think 2 or 3 options: top of the first results page or the absolute first result, right? And then I would suggest, considering if you've never used this strategy or if you're just getting started, I would suggest go with the option that I've recommended, top of the results page, along with at least 80 to 90% of impression share. And then according to your higher bid limit. So for example, if you're having a low CPC of, let's say 10, 20, 30 rupees, I would suggest at least 5 to 10 times of that current average CPC to test the theory that is it the case of my bids are too low, which is affecting my impression share, or is it quality, or is it something else, right? So in case if it's low bids, this will be resolved immediately, quickly in a few days. So going on, this is one of my favorite theories, or let's say understandings in the world of Google Ads, right? So I'm sure most of you or all of you will be Google Ads certified in terms of their search ads assessments, right? So you must also remember the formula that, hey, Google doesn't charge you directly on what you bid. There's ad rank, let's say your bid into quality factor, right? But most of us, or let's say I've seen many marketers don't know what are the real implications of a low quality score, or how does quality score directly impact your bids, right? So here's a screenshot and a simple explanation. The lower your quality score from 1 to 10, the more you pay to Google, right? And vice versa, higher your quality score, Google literally discounts, let's say, gives you, let's say, leverage in terms of your low bidding, right? So how this actually works, I have a video embedded by Google directly. So this is a video by Val Harry. I'm sorry, his name is Hal. I'm the chief economist here. Debarati, do you want to show this video? Like, you want me to go on with this video? Do we have time? How are we doing on time?
I think we can share the video with everyone. You can send that to me separately, and okay, we can move ahead if there's a time constraint.
Sure. So I think I'm going to skip the video. It's a simple one. So the screenshot that you saw is what the video talks about. Right. So the screenshot is exactly what is explained by the video. Feel free to take a look at the video and come to me with questions. Right. So I'm going to skip to the next slide.
Just take 1 minute. Everyone who wants to know the quality score and how you can calculate that, we'll be sharing this video, which Asim is sharing currently. We are taking your email IDs and I'll send it to everybody. And this thing would be shared along with the presentations and all the recordings, everything would be shared after the event. So no need to worry about it. Yeah, please go ahead.
Right. So what happens if you don't focus on quality score? This is a very interesting use case, which is an actual experience, or let's say consulting that I did for a big client with millions of dollars of ad spend. Right. So if you take a look at the column of max CPC, right, and compare that with average CPC, though it is within the max CPC, but that's where you need to compare the first position bid. That is what Google recommends for this advertiser to be on top as the first result on the first page. But though Google is already charging higher than that first position bid. Why is this? It's because of low quality score. And as you can see, for one of the keywords, it is already with a low quality score status, right? So this is the power of optimizing ad rank and ad quality. Right? Without this, you are at a danger, or let's say a risk of overpaying to Google on your CPCs. Okay, so how do we improve quality score? How do we improve the relevancy in ads, right? Very simple techniques. right from ads, right from the way you structure your campaigns, right from a lot of simple but effective techniques. That's what I'm sharing here. So at the time of writing an ad for ad group, how do you write an ad, right? My personal practice, what I've been following for years, is you literally sell the ad group, right? So for example, you're selling, let's take an example of Nike, right? So for example, if you're creating an ad group for Nike and you're selling, of course, Nike shoes, and let's say two to three examples in the ad group are Nike shoes, Nike Air Max, Nike women's shoes, right? So it's all about finding the most common denominator, or in the world of Google Ads, we call it as a head term for each ad group. Or let's say you could also say it as the theme of the ad group, which is Nike shoes, or let's say just shoes, right? So you need to forget about the brand, you need to forget about the offer, you need to sell the keyword, or let's say the theme, which is shoes. You need to ensure that you're talking about variations of shoes as inside your headlines, your descriptions, and even inside your display URLs, right? So the more, let's say, keywords, or let's say close related keywords you've included in your ad copy, the higher the chance Google is going to see that ad as more relevant and give you a higher CTR, which will result in a higher quality, right? So it's all about, you need to literally sell the ad group theme, right? Don't sell the brand, don't sell the keywords, don't sell the offer, don't sell anything else, but focus on the ad group theme, right? And technique, or let's say a functionality that Google already enables you to do, is use dynamic keyword insertion. All you need to do is in inverted brackets, just type in keyword, you'll know what to do from there, right? So very simple, but extremely effective technique. Use DKI and write your ads in line with your ad group theme. That's a very simple but effective technique to improve your ad relevance score through writing effective ads, right? And then once you've written the ads, and once you know the brand, once you know how you're writing the ads, go on to writing responsive search ads, which is a fairly new format. I think Google came up with this in around 2018, and which is nothing but a combination of all your expanded text ads. So you input more headlines and descriptions, and Google automatically matches relevant headlines and descriptions according to the user's search query, right? And a simple trick that's worked most effectively for me in terms of number of keywords and number of ads in an ad group is, I always tell my team, so let's say people I work with, have 2 expanded text ads and 1 responsive search ad, along with no more than 10 to 12 keywords in each ad group. That's my best practice that I followed for years, and it's worked wonders. So that's my simple recommendation to you. Right, so that was all about ad relevancy between your ads and keywords. What about relevancy between your, let's say, landing page and your campaigns, right? So why do we even need to talk about landing pages? Is because Google, there's a concept in the world of Google Ads, which is called message match, right? So yeah, that's the first thing. So what is message match? Is simple, or let's say a way Google analyzes your relevancy between the keywords you're choosing, whether those keywords are present in your ads, and whether they're also present in your landing page, right? So having a cohesive and a relevancy between keywords, ads, landing page. That's what we call message match. And how do you achieve this? Let's find out. So a simple manual technique is, you first sort out what are your top couple of, let's say, 5 to 10 keywords that you're already spending on, and then ensure that those keywords are at least present in your titles and your H1 tags, as well as some variations are present in the body of your landing page. That's, excuse me, that's a very simple and extremely effective technique to immensely boost your landing page experience score, right? And if you've got a big campaign, if you are looking for a scalable technique, or let's say automated and scalable technique, you could use landing page tools like Unbounce. They give you the native functionality to enable zero coding to achieve dynamic text replacement, which is nothing but automatically including your keywords, or let's say the search terms being used by your searchers, to include them directly on your landing page, right? So that's an automated, scalable way of ensuring that no matter what keyword, no matter what campaign is the person's coming from, you have a good landing page relevance score, right? So what are some of the other techniques to achieve a high landing page experience score? So simple fundamentals like the loading speed of your pages, how relevant, or let's say how easy it is for a person, or let's say your visitor, to check out or do the intended action that you want them to do. For example, if it's a lead generation campaign, you want them to fill a form, you want them to, let's say, submit their details, you want them to sign up for something, you want them to purchase something. No matter what action you're asking them to take, the easier it is for them to take that action, better your score in terms of Google's eyes, that hey, this landing page enables users what they're intending to do. So let's give this campaign a good score, right? And one of the data points that you can consider is Google already gives you a landing page mobile speed score. And as you can see, in this case, it's 6 out of 10, which is not that good. So if I were the campaign manager, what I'd immediately do is I'll go to Page Speed Insights as a test. I'll use this landing page URL and kind of churn out what are the recommended optimizations that the developer can do on the landing page, so that the speed is up to the highest possible mark. So higher the speed, better your landing page experience score, and that in turn also affects, or let's say converts to a higher conversion ratio, right? So speed, it not only affects your landing page experience, but also affects your conversion rate, right? And I've listed a couple of other tools which might not be so commonly used by all of the marketers. You could use page speed insights from Google. You could also use a tool called Think with Google, and also a third-party tool called GT Metrics.
Asim, we have a question here. What is a good page speed score for mobile and desktop?
Right, so Think with Google as a tool, they provide you with both scores, and also I think page speed insights, no matter if you're considering mobile version or desktop version, they will give you an individual score along with individual recommendations.
Thank you.
Yep. And last, the overall theme of how fast, or let's say how modern your user interface and your user experience is. How do you find out as a marketer if you're not a designer, if you don't know, or let's say if you don't have the in-depth expertise? Use again Unbounce to analyze your page in terms of how easy to navigate is, and which includes all of these landing page speed scores and all of, let's say, about more than 20 factors to help you understand what areas that you can improve in your landing page, right? So a simple free tool from Unbounce, I suggest everyone to give it a try.
Okay, just out of curiosity, for landing pages, what are the things which we shouldn't do while we are optimizing it? Because most people will be working on multiple things, and that can cause a big problem in optimizing it. So, what what are the things we should consider not to do while we are doing this?
Right. So technically, especially from a campaign perspective, never include hidden URLs, or let's say hidden redirects. That is against Google's policy. If you have hidden redirects, Google will penalize you and also ban you forever from running campaigns from that domain. So that's first don'ts that you shouldn't do. Then, so I would say don't focus on what you shouldn't do, but focus on what you should improve rather, which is easily what you can find out from tools like Unbounce and a lot of landing page analyzing tools, right? So I would suggest gather some data, have a cohesive, analytical view of what are the main factors which are stopping you from having a higher, let's say a better landing page experience. Work on those points, A/B test, and keep on testing, keep on improving. So in the world of digital, as you know, it's constantly improving, it's constantly working on changes. If you say that, okay, I've achieved 100% score, I'm done, that's not how it works.
Okay. So just there is a question from Mukundan. So he has a question that do they have any specific KPIs for message match?
Right. So there's no KPI, but if you use this tool, that is Unbounce, they will make sure that the search terms by your searchers is automatically included in your landing pages. Uh, at what point, or let's say in what, uh, so you have the manual ability and also the choice to let Unbounce know that where do you want them to include a dynamic text versus a default text, right? So marketers who are already using DKI, that is dynamic keyword insertion, they will be, in a better position to understand how Unbounce works and how a concept like DTR works, right? So I would suggest, if you're not using DKI in your ads, first be extremely familiar with how DKI works, and then think about landing page DTR, right? So I would, so in terms of a reverse recommendation, I would say in order for you to work, or let's say gain profits out of DTR, you need to at least have DKI enabled in your ads. So once you have DKI enabled, then start thinking about the landing page dynamic text, right?
Got it. Got it. So I think Mukundan, I think you got your answer. So there is one more question from Udipta. So is Unbounce specific to PPC, or it includes SEO as well?
So I cannot comment on SEO as a technical aspect, but it is not only for PPC. It also works for a lot of use cases, including shopping campaigns, including no matter what your campaign is, no matter what your channel is, social, paid social, wherever your traffic is coming from, you could use Unbounce, but Unbounce specifically is known to work for PPC, especially given the reason it has a wonderful feature like DDR.
Got it. Got it. So I think Aditya, that answers your question as well. So let's move on to the next session.
So now we've talked about quality score, but how do you understand what's the current situation, or let's say where to focus on quality score? Because quality score is not a simple, 1 to 10 rank. It is made up of 3 factors. One is the expected CDR, second is the landing page experience, and third is the ad relevance, right? So all these combined make up your numerical quality score. And to be able to see changes, what is not working or what has taken a hit recently, there's a way to investigate that, which is exactly what I'm going to show it here, right? So in theory, what you do is you add these columns which have historical marked inside them. So all you do is go to your columns, advanced columns, type in HIST, that is historical. You'll get these 4 columns, add those columns, enable date comparison of at least 30 days versus previous 30 days. Then go to, okay, so I'm going to show you the screenshot, how we do it, right? If you see here, I've added these columns. So what I'm trying to do is the numerical quality score. I have done a sorting from highest, or let's say lowest to highest on the change percent column, which is bolded, so you guys can see, right? So that is highlighting the worst, or let's say the negative changes in the quality score, right? In terms of the keyword level. So I'm trying to investigate, hey, what's causing the negative change in quality score? So here in this case, it appears to be landing page experience, right? So it's going from average to below average in some cases. So given, okay, your quality score is low, right? What's causing that? If you find out, then you've got a chance to work on the specific issue which is causing a low quality score, right? So this is one of the techniques I use for especially large or complex campaigns. Right. Now, without talking about conversions, we cannot talk about campaigns, especially Google ads, right? So there's also a way to understand, or let's say audit your conversion data. If you say, hey, my conversions, I'm getting enough conversions in a month. That's not enough for you to not worry about conversion data. There could be a lot of hidden cues, a lot of hidden data that you might be missing on in terms of conversion, right? So how do you understand if your conversion data is optimal, right? So one is a very simple technique, or let's say very apparent technique, is you take a look at the statuses of each and every conversion action per se. And while also kind of realizing or reminding yourself that if you're running automated strategies like target CPA, maximize conversions, your conversion data has to be of pinpoint accuracy. Why is that? Is because Google's ML, or let's say machine learning systems, they depend on your conversion data, right? So your conversion signals that you've set as rules, ML will consider that as bidding signals, right? So in the world of Google Ads, we call it as auction time bidding, right? So for example, there are two searches happening for the same keyword, but the location or the device is different. So as per Google's ML systems, Google will dynamically decide to probably show your ad to one of the devices, or let's say one of the searches, and Google might not show the ad at all to the other searcher. Why? Is because Google might have an auction time bidding signal saying that, hey, in the past, this device or this time of the day, right, or this location, they are not converting as well as the others, right? So Google might not even show you that, right? So unless and until you are giving Google's machine learning the ability to make auction time bidding intelligence, you are not effectively, let's say, leveraging Google's ML technology per se, right? So it's very important to have in-depth, or let's say error-free conversion setup. How do you do that? How do you audit it? Let's take a look. Right, so post checking the status of each conversion, how do you find out, right? So there's a separate column from the regular conversions column, which is called all conversions. So I would suggest you go back to your campaigns immediately today and have a comparative study that, hey, do my all conversions column information, does it match to conversions? If there's a disparity, if there's a difference in the numbers, that's your hint that you might be missing on valuable conversions, right? Or your conversion setup is not perfect. You need to work on it, right? What are some other technical, or let's say techie, geeky ways to find if everything's okay with your conversions? So if you're using, let's say, most of the marketers are already using Tag Manager, that is Google Tag Manager. How do you make it very easy to find out what's the status of your conversions, right? So what you can kind of look out, especially if you're running a B2B campaign, for lead generation. What you can do is you can ensure that your form, or let's say submit button clicks, are not tracking false positives, right? So for example, you might have a technical backend saying that, hey, don't include these domains inside the email field, or check for spam, or let's say check for a captcha, check for a lot of other technical variations. So what are you trying to say, or what I'm trying to say is, if you have such technical conditions before filling out the form successfully, you need to ensure that you are not considering the false positives, right? So the the let's say easy way of putting this is, you need to listen on, let's say technically listen on only the success messages, right? So in today's world, gone are the days that all forms, or let's say all websites, have those thank you pages. You might have come across a lot of websites while you're browsing the internet. You might have come across these sites which have no thank you page, right? All they have is a pop-up, or maybe not even a pop-up, just a simple message. Thank you for your message. We'll get back to you, right? So how do you put your conversion tags in these scenarios is through a technique called listening for those success messages through Google Tag Manager, right? So once you know that you're not considering the false positives in your form fields, especially, this could also apply in your shopping campaigns. That is when you are ensuring that you are not filling your conversion data with false information for Google to optimize, right? So for example, if you're giving false information to Google to optimize, Google might go ahead and start bidding on auction time bidding for people who might never convert, right? So or who might never intend to convert, right? So it's all about giving the perfect healthy data to Google, right? And ensuring phone calls is also kind of tracking phone calls successfully, each and every one of them with an individual ID. Also through Google's technique for the Google forwarding number, GFN, is one way to ensure that all of the calls, which are because of Google campaigns, are being tracked in your campaigns, right? So as a campaign manager, your focus will always be, hey, I never want to miss out on conversions. It's okay if I'm not able to get conversions, but I don't want to miss out on the conversions which are already happening through my campaigns, right? You would never want that. So these are points you need to ensure that you are giving Google its utmost capabilities to make those automated, or let's say intelligent decisions, right? So focus on calls, focus on your form fills, focus on the buttons being clicked, and while also ensuring that you've got a third-party call verification, or let's say call tracking software. Most common ones are called Rail, Phone Wagon. According to your industry, according to what kind of campaigns you're running, you might opt for something else. But these are the two most recommended ones, called Rail and Phone Wagon. Right. So I think there is too much just for conversion, right?
Yeah.
All right. So let's go to bidding strategies as an optimization perspective. So I've seen marketers switching to automated bidding strategies like target CPA, maximize conversions, without ensuring Google's recommendation that, hey, please please have enough historical data for Google to optimize towards those conversion data, right? So Google's recommendation, or let's say qualification, is 15 conversions in the last 30 days. I say give them even better data, give them 30 conversions in the last 30 days. Unless you've achieved this, do not go for any of the automated bidding strategies. You are just wasting your hard-earned marketing money. Don't do that. That's worse that you can do. You are simply saying Google, hey Google, here's my money, please burn it. You don't want to do that, right?
Yeah. Not even a chance.
Yep. So one of the lesser known techniques in any campaign where you're trying to drive phone calls for your business is when you go to the advanced bid adjustment function, and where you need to select okay, so even before I recommend this, I consider going data driven. How do I do that? Is by seeing, or let's say understanding a column called interaction coverage percentage. If it is less than 50%, that's a sign that you could leverage Google's advanced, or let's say bid adjustment capabilities to get more phone calls to your business, right? So my recommendation, or let's say deciding factor to enable advanced bid adjustment on phone calls, is the interaction coverage percentage should be less. If it is more, you might already be getting enough number of phone calls, right? So consider before enabling this advanced bid adjustment. Right. So going on to some other bidding strategies, you could do a lot of advanced bidding strategies, or let's say advanced bid adjustments based on device, demographics, and a lot many variable factors. I would say A/B test and keep on testing until you find what's working for a specific campaign, right? And it's also pretty good to exclude certain age or demographics which are in line with your target audience. So for example, if it's a B2C, you might have a persona, you might have an understanding that, hey, my brand, or let's say my products only appeal to women in a certain age bracket.
Okay.
I would not want to show my ads to, let's say, the other age demographics. So that's a way of you saving marketing money, right? You know that they're not going to click on your ad, they are not interested, they might not even be your ideal target audience. Why even show them your ad, right? So that's a very basic recommendation. All right, and just to summarize the bidding strategy, so at the time when you're starting a new campaign, I personally recommend that you always select, or let's say always start your campaign with a manual CPC, along with if you've got conversion set up very precisely, then it's okay to select the enhanced version, that is up to 20% of bid adjustment automatically when Google thinks they might get you more conversions. But also one recommendation along with this is consider at least estimated top of the page recommended bid by Google. That's a direct, let's say, leverage, or let's say a direct way to ensure that you're going to get a good amount of impression share, right? Especially when you're starting a campaign. Start with manual CPC, enable enhanced CPC if you've got conversion setup, and good to start with estimated top of the page bid, right? What do you do when you've got something like target CPA bidding going on? So I've seen a lot of marketers making a small, bare basic mistake of not putting in the max bid limit for target CPA because it's not that straightforward. It's not available right in the campaign settings. You need to go to the portfolio bid strategies, which is in the tools menu, and then go on to set a max bid limit for your target CPA campaigns, right? So ensure whenever you have a target CPA bidding strategy that you put a max bid limit, because Google is going to bid, let's say 10 times, even more than 20, 30 times I've seen, right? So for example, if your account level bid is around 10, 15 rupees, but if you're enabling target CPA, Google might bid as high as hundreds, and you don't want that, right? So I would suggest set a max CPC bid limit through portfolio bid strategies for target CPA.
Got it.
Yeah. Okay, so this is pretty much the last slide. Just as a revelation, I am not a display ads, or let's say display campaign specialist. My specialization is in the search ads world. So this is just my, let's say, observations I would say not experience, but this is more of coming from my observations rather than experience. So one simple strategy is always include placements which are not in line with your brands. You could do this through the exclude placements strategy, also content exclusion strategy, and a very common mistake, or let's say overlook, that I've seen marketers doing is they enable Google to kind of place their ads on, let's say, mobile phones or especially mobile apps, right? So I don't, or let's say, I don't. Okay, there's no right way to put this. So I have never had any client coming to me and saying that, hey, Asim, can we specifically bid, or let's say, can we specifically place our ads on mobile apps? No, I have never come across that situation. So as a generic strategic approach, I would recommend never to bid on mobile apps as a placement category, because that's industry knowledge that simply does not work. Why? There's a logical explanation behind it. Mobile apps as as a as a segmentation, they're hotbeds for bots, click fraud, and also accidental clicks by children who are using the phones of your target audience, and even gamers, right? So all this combined, you'll get a lot of impressions, a lot of clicks, but close to no conversions. So you're simply wasting your marketing money by enabling your placements on mobile apps. So I would suggest, unless you've got specific brand guidelines, you exclude mobile app placements. That's one of the biggest spend, or let's say biggest budget savers in the world of display campaigns. Yep. Also, I would not recommend using automatic targeting expansion, which is Google's way of expanding your audience beyond your intended audience. Right? So Google is notorious in terms of showing you, hey, who's your target audience, or let's say, basically you lose the granular control that when you have through manual targeting expansion, right? So I would suggest not to enable targeting expansion in the world of display ads. Also use targeting as, so campaign managers will understand this readily. So when you are doing an audience targeting for display ads, you have a choice to go either observation or targeting, right? So observation is nothing but you're trying to say, Google, hey, I would like to experiment what kind of audiences are working, and here's the list. So without limiting your audiences, you're telling Google, please place special experiments on the observation, or let's say observed audiences, right? Without limiting your overall reach. But this will earn this will burn a lot of let's say precious budget for you without giving you actual performance. So unless and until you're just getting started on a new display campaign, always go the targeting setting for your audiences, right? So I think that's about it. That is the end of my slides. That's the actual end of my presentation. But I'd just like to add more information about Unbounce along with a promotion. I'm an Unbounce partner. I'm a agency level partner with Unbounce. So here's my offer to you guys. If you think all of these conditions are true, if you're spending lakhs, if you're getting a lot of traffic from Google ads, and if you're also into B2B lead generation, you should really consider getting Unbounce as a tool, right? Because you might have found yourself already frustrated with your developers going back and forth. Hey, change this on the landing page. This is a change that we need to do. Or can you please optimize the landing page? The speed is not good. The content is not good. lot of communication going back and forth. That's exactly where Unbounce comes in. You do not need to depend on your developer team to make small and quick changes to your landing page. Along with that core, let's say, offering, Unbounce sets itself apart in the world of landing page tools is through the DTR, dynamic text replacement. It's very easy to set it up. I'm open to giving any support if you need any help setting it up. So here's my offer to you guys. If you are willing to go with Unbounce, I'm more than happy to offer you a 20% discount for the first 3 months, which is around $60. And all you need to do is click on the link and get started with Unbounce.
Great.
So that's
yeah. Please, Asim. Thank you so much. I think the link which Azim has shared with us, we'll share it across your email and in group, so people can go and check it out. So I think we have a question and Q&A session, and before that, I just want everyone to join with us to take a video selfie so that we can publish it across the social media. So I just want everyone, I'm requesting everyone to unmute their videos such that we can take a quick screenshot, and we'll be happy to look for. That's it. Great, guys.
So how do we do this again?
Which one? Screenshot?
Yep. So, okay, screenshot, right?
Yeah. So I'm taking the screenshots. So I know pretty much that there might be a lot of questions, or if there is any kind of questions for you. Hi, everyone. Thank you. That's great. Come on, somebody's.
I think we have a question from Somideep. Could you?
Yes. So we'll just ask question. Right. 1 minute.
If anybody has questions, please raise your hands using the option raise hands, and we'll take up the questions one by one.
Just a minute. So Somideep has a question. So Somideep, I have unmuted you. Can you hear?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Go ahead.
Hi, Asim. Thanks for this amazing session. To be honest, this is really insightful. I wanted to ask you two questions actually. Firstly, what are your thoughts on bidding on competitors' brand keywords? And is a single group enough for that? And secondly, do you feel affiliate marketers should rely heavily on Google Ads, or should social ads play a part as well?
Okay, so apart from affiliate marketing, I'm not well versed with the world of affiliates, so I will refrain from commenting anything. But when it comes to brand as your search target, so how do you do it is you need to be careful about one small thing, that you cannot, or let's say you're not officially allowed as per the advertising policy by Google to include your competitors' brand keywords inside your headlines, or let's say inside your ad copies. But Google doesn't stop you from bidding, or let's say targeting those keywords, right? So what's the best way to have it as a strategic point is by, so let's say in the world of especially B2B search ads, how do we do it is you have a funnel based, or let's say buyer's journey based approach, right? So for example, if a keyword lies, let's say is on the top of the funnel, right? A person's searching just for recommendations in terms of his problems. He knows he's got a problem, but he's not sure of the solutions. That's a classic example of top of the funnel. So I would recommend you take the list of keywords, you classify them in at least 3 stages of top, middle, and bottom funnel stages. Then do a separate ad group, or maybe even campaign, with variation of small, or let's say lower to high bids, and then write the ads according to what solution, or let's say what are they looking for through those keywords. As again what I said in my presentation, you need to have as a side-by-side, literally side-by-side strategy. You need to see your list of keywords for the ad group and then write the ads. So while you're aware of the theme of the ad group, you need to write your ad copy, which will resonate and also include those keywords. But be careful that you are not allowed by Google to include those keywords inside your ad copies.
Okay. One last question, if you don't mind.
Yeah, sure.
So, is it so in 2020? It's very bad for SEO if you use exact match domains, right? But does exact match domains or partial match domains?
Just a minute.
Once again,
Yeah, I have muted.
Durga,
I have muted.
yeah,
Now,
okay,
Samidip, you can ask.
yeah.
Yeah, but do exact match domains or partial match domains have an effect on your quality score if you're targeting those keywords?
Oh, okay.
Like
So
EMD in your landing page.
got it. You mean domain level, right? Okay. So recently, one of the SEO professionals that I work with, they pointed out that, especially from an SEO perspective, having an exact match domain has no leverage, is not conclusive to give you any leverage no matter what.
Yeah.
So especially SEO, it will not enable you to achieve anything higher. So I would say don't even think about exact match domains. That's not a viable strategy.
Yeah, but does it have an effect on your quality score as well, as far as Google ads are concerned?
No, Google Ads Quality Score, they do not consider your domain. No.
Okay, cool. Thank you so much.
I have one more question actually, Asim, from Udipta. Her question is, for a small website, let's say just one web page, how difficult or easy it is to plan your search ad campaigns? Do you have any particular checks to keep in mind?
Well, simple small websites, it's not that hard. All you need to do is think about various aspects, various problems, various type of keywords that your target audience is using. You have to go through, or let's say you have to think from your user's perspective. You have to literally put yourself in their shoes and then think what kind of keywords and what kind of campaign structure you'd like to have, right? So no matter what your industry or niche is, I would suggest classify according to your product category, classify according to your buyer's journey, right? So buying journey, and then create a logical structure which also matches your website menu, right? So for example, let's take a simple example of e-commerce, right? So for example, if you're selling shoes, so some of the categories that you could sell is women's shoes, sports shoes, men's shoes, kids shoes. So have each and every one of these categories as a separate campaign, and then do a keyword research especially for each of these categories, and then build out your campaigns. So classifying campaigns according to the intent and the type of product, or let's say type of service, is essential, and it's a technique again to ensure that you get a high quality score, right? So I would recommend always following this no matter what your industry.
I think we have a question from Sabi.
Sabi.
Can you unmute him?
Yes,
Varun?
of course.
Oh, Udita has a follow-up question actually. If I have a strong competition for the most relevant keywords, how to compete with the big players in the same niche?
Right. So you could go two ways. One is you could try, okay, so here's my specific recommendation for you. So if you go inside your keywords column, there's a section, or let's say a column called lost, or let's say your rank or your budget. What's the cause of you losing impression share, right? So I'm not able to recall the specific column name, but there's a column which says that your campaigns are losing impression share because of your rank or because of your budget. I would say investigate that case per se in terms of your keywords or your campaign, and then take a decision. What's your area of optimization?
Udita, does it answer your question? Okay. Okay, cool.
Okay,
So
so
let's take, yeah, Sabi's question.
Yeah.
Sabi, can you hear us? Can you hear us?
Yeah. Is it audible?
Yeah, it's audible.
Yeah. Asim, hi. This is Abby from Metric Fox. Thank you so much for these wonderful insights. So I actually went through, I just going through a few books, and there was one strategy which I uh, just read about it, and it is really interesting. I thought I'll just get your views on it. So what if I take the same keyword and I use it for exact match as well as broad match as well as phrase match, but I bid it differently. Let's say I take red bag for boys or whatever, and for the exact match, let's say I bid it for $1. For the phrase match, I bid it for 75 cents, and for broad match, I do it for 50 cents. So what happens is, if someone is looking for that exact phrase, although it's costing me more, but I know that it's more relevant for me. So what do you think of this strategy?
That's exactly what I recommend. So I've got an actual bidding guide that I use when I launch new campaigns. So that's exactly in line with what you just said. More, let's say, more focused the match type, the higher you bid. So that's true when you bid lower for broad and modified broad, while you bid higher for phrase and exact matches. That's right.
Using the same keyword, we can try that, right? We can at least experiment and see.
Exactly. But be careful that you cannot include the same matches in one ad group or even in one campaign. I would suggest, let's say, split out those campaigns according to the matches.
Oh, so you're saying within a campaign, it's not allowed to have the same?
No, it is totally allowed. You can do that. But
okay.
that could, let's say, attract more budget, or let's say Google will automatically prefer the broad match types and give it more budget, which leaves almost no budget for your exact to phrase matches, right? So I would suggest separate them into separate, or let's say bifurcate them into separate campaigns.
Great. Thank you so much.
Welcome.
Do we have any other questions?
Wow, we're right in time. Debarati, Varun, I am afraid I need to get going.
Sure.
I've got a client meeting at 6:30. So anyways, I don't think there's a question.
So,
and if there are any questions, we can take them offline.
Yep.
Great.
Thank you
so I just wanted to talk to people who joined in later probably. I will share the link with you, as I was telling you, that we have this campaign going on wherein we are offering 2 of our solutions at 50% off. If you're interested, please click on this link. I'll share the link with you. You can avail the offer, and all the details about the tools and what they do is all available in this. You can click on the link and you can take that up. Thank you so much, Asim, for your
Thanks a lot, Debarati. Thanks a lot, Warren, and
thank you so much, Asim.
Thanks, Asim. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, everyone for joining. So I'll share the recordings to everyone. So as of now, thank you. Bye bye.